Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all having a great week. We're going to be rolling through the round 15 teams list, and we're starting with the Eels and the Storm. So, to start us off, the Eels are 1-17, so no changes there, with a few changes for the Storm. So, Shandor Earl has come back into the squad for Vunivalu, who's out for a little bit there. Big Tino moves into the 13 role for Dale Finucane, who is out for about 6 weeks, it looks like. Should be back for the finals time, but provides a little bit of an opportunity for Big Tino to score really well and play big minutes over the next 6 weeks anyway. For those that have him, it's a great result for you guys. Jerome Hughes is in a lot of doubt. Just read a late mail and it's saying that he's a very slim chance of playing. And they've got Nico Hines and Cooper Johns both on the interchange in 14 for Nico and 20 for Cooper Johns. So one of them should come into the starting side and the other to the bench. At this stage, it looks like Hines might be the front runner, but we won't know until game day for that one. Moving on to the next game, Panthers and the Sharks. Both teams are 1-17, and both teams are playing really well. First for Panthers on a 10-game win streak. I've spoken a couple of times about the fact that they might start resting players, with them having a nice clear lead on the rest of the squads, but they keep getting named. It looks like maybe around round 18 or 19 they all might get a rest, maybe against an easier team. But we'll keep monitoring that as we go along, but all scoring well in the meantime. Moving on to the next game, Broncos and Dragons. Only one change for the Dragons, with Paul Vaughan coming back into the team, and he's playing on the bench in the number 17 jersey. So nothing too much to report with those guys there. Don't imagine many people have Paul Vaughan, so not much of a factor. With the Broncos, biggest news is Payne Haas is out, suspended for a couple of weeks. Tommy Flegler is also out, which brings Offhand Gowie and Kennedy into the starting pack. Thing to think of with Haas, guys, if you've got, say, 6 or more trades, then you could probably trade him out and possibly bring him back in later, but trade him out for now, for this next couple of weeks, because he costs so much money. There's a lot of points there, especially if you're, if you leaving him on the bench makes you play like a Hamiso or one of these kind of guys in your 17, then it might be worth picking up those extra points and burning one of those trades that you got left. This is for classic guys. If you're someone that plays head to head, I'd be keeping him in your team at this stage. Moving along, we've got Anthony Milford back. Hamstrings recovered. He's back in for Brodie Croft, who is out. Jordan Carr, who's back after a long layoff. He comes in for Jesse Arthurs there. And then Isaac Luke comes in for Turpin, who's broke his hand. He'll be out for a while. So hopefully no one picked up Turpin in his comeback. Unfortunately, he's out again. Moving along to the Titans game. Big news out of that one was Kevin Proctor has been suspended, and there's talks of either Beau Fermor or Tyrone Peachey coming into that starting role. So if you're a Tyrone Peachey owner in the centres there, then you'd want to hope that he gets that spot over Fermor. But one of them will get that role, and one of them will stay on the bench there. Anthony Don and Philip Sammy are back on the wing there for the squad. And then other big news is Jai Arrow is out, which moves Mo Fodawaker to the 13 role and Jared Wallace to the front row. What I've been noticing since I brought Mo in is that he's playing more of that number 13 role. He's running a little bit less, passing the ball a little bit. He's used as a decoy a little bit, so he's playing more of that 13 role anyway, very similar to what Arrow would be doing. So I don't think his role changed as much. So just the hope there is he would play a few more minutes. But Arrow wasn't a high-minute player, so I doubt the role changes too much for Mo in that situation. On the Raiders side, Hudson Young comes back in the 13 role. That is about all with that squad. Moving on to the next game, we've got Tigers and the Roosters. Alex Twal is named in the 18 jersey. He's in the reserves anyway. And there's a chance that he comes back, but he's been a bit of a painful one, especially for those who brought him back in that first week. He scored well, but he's just been out so often this year, unfortunately, for him and for those who own him. On the Roosters side, we've got a bunch of returns. Brett Morris is back. Hargraves is back. They both have to pass the fitness test and get through captain's run, but they should be okay. Orbo's out with that injury. Lockie Lamb and Keary are both out as well for a little bit of an extended period of time, which brings in Drew Hutchinson and Kyle Flanagan. So for those that held Flanagan, he should get the bulk of the kick meters, etc. in that position and get back to kicking goals. So he should score well if you still have him. On the next game, we've got Rabbitohs and the Seagulls. So Bailey Sironen comes back into the starting role in number 12, replacing Liam Knight. So they made that switch on the weekend, and Sironen didn't get as many minutes and hasn't been scoring well anyway. But for those of you like myself who have Payne Haas out and might have to play someone like Sironen, hopefully he scores a lot better this week, and I've got a feeling he will. Let's hope and pray for over 30 anyway. And on the other side of the field, we've only got Marty Tapau coming back. Comes back into that starting side, so good for anyone who has him, but yeah, he's not someone that I'd be bringing in at this stage. Anyway, Jake Trobb, Daly Cherry Evans, both playing amazingly well, scoring really well in fantasy, and still no sign of Tommy Trobb for the Manly boys, and they really need him, unfortunately. For them, they've been struggling since he went down, which shows how important he is to that squad. In the next game, we've got the Dogs and the Warriors. Dogs sort of hanging in there on the weekend again. Nick Meaney hasn't been playing too bad at the fullback position, but he's now been moved to the wing to bring back Will Hopewade, which means Montoya steps out of the squad. Luke Thompson has been benched, so it's an interesting one there. They're moving Josh Jackson to 13, and then that Matt Dury, who played his first game on the weekend scoring a try, moves into the second row position. So it'll be interesting to see how long this one lasts, if Luke Thompson stays on the bench, and if this is something that will happen for the rest of the year. But he's an interesting prospect to think about, which he'll score a lot better in the second row position. It's typical for Dogs second rows to sort of score 40 plus. Obviously, they've had Raymond, who's done really well, and Josh Jackson on the other side there. So yeah, it's an interesting one to think about with him there. And then nothing too much to talk about on the other side with the Warriors there, except for Perham coming back with Patrick Herbert out, but there's nothing to talk about there, and I don't imagine many people have Eli Katoa with Isaiah Papali, so nothing too much there. Knights and Cowboys, last little one. Saifidi is out again, unfortunately, comes back and he's hurt himself again, so Jacob comes back into the starting side. Mitch Barnett has sneakily been scoring really well, got 71 in 80 minutes on the weekend, so awesome work from him. I mentioned him a couple of weeks ago that he might be a decent purchase for those guys that are needing a second rower at a bit of a cut price. He's done really well in that position there, playing those big minutes. So on the other side, Tamalolo still playing well. Didn't play as many minutes, thus didn't score as well on the weekend, but I'd imagine he'll be in for a big one this week, especially with them playing a little bit better too. But Ruben Cotter comes into the interchange for Jake Granville, so nothing will change in terms of Reeves Robson. For those that have him, he will still get a spell for Ruben Cotter there. Anyway, guys, that's all for round 15. Good luck with your trades this week. If you have many left, I'm personally sitting on 3. And am trying not to use any. Obviously, Payne Haas going down is a bit of a big letdown for my squad, but let's try and get through it, and we'll see you in the next video, guys. Have a good one.